Hey, what's up, guys? It's been a long time in coming. Believe me, it has been a long time in coming, but we finally have reached the end of the small transfer period that we had. The Taiwan schedule is bizarre. As you saw last time, we clinched the league, we won. That was at the end of August. Now we are in the middle of October, and so we had this basically like a winter break, but technically the season's already done. We have 4 more league matches left, and then we're done with the season for the next break. And that next break will last from looks like the end of November up through sometime in early March. So that's going to be pretty interesting to play through here, and it's going to take quite a bit of time. I don't know when the Asian Cup or whatever it is that we qualified for begins, but we'll see what happens. We'll see how this works. This is all a learning experience for me. As you can see, we've played a whole bunch of friendlies. We completely dominated in every single one of those. And this transfer period was a little bit eventful for us. I'm going to check. I'm not sure if it's going to show me here in the transfer history exactly what's happening. So just so you know, Kenshin Katata, who you might remember from our early time in Taiwan, he is on his way out. He's going to go join KMG Holdings FC, which is one of the many Japanese teams that we have loaded. And let's take a look here at the transfer history and see if it'll tell me much about what has happened here. There are a couple of guys who were bought off from under us. So the big one, of course, is Kader Bamba, who's one of the few good players that we have that has left. Kader Bamba, as you'll remember from the last match, had a very, very poor match. I was kind of wondering which one of the other foreign players I need to get rid of so that we can make room for one more. Kader Bamba ended up being the guy who we got rid of. He has the low on confidence personality. He is actually on loan at the moment with Stella Club, which are in, I have no idea what, Ivory Coast. Yeah, so Cote d'Ivoire. Kader Bamba, who I think is from Cote d'Ivoire. Let's take a look here. Yes, Cote d'Ivoire. And so he has gone back home to play on a local team. He has 4 appearances and a 5.88 average rating, which I think shows you more than anything else just how bad Taiwan is. This guy was like a star in the league. Anyway, so Kader Baba is gone for the time being. We're probably going to end up selling him. Tsai Xiangwei never played for us. Xu Shengjie is one of the guys who was really upset with me. I can't remember if we played him or not. We did play him 6 times. We must have played him up in the middle or maybe a defensive midfielder once or twice. I have no memory whatsoever of playing this guy. So, I mean, whatever. Goodbye, good riddance. Cheng Lian, who I think never played for us, was a striker. He never played for us at all. He is gone. How old is this guy? 19 years old. He may have actually been in the under-18s, which would be why I don't know who he is. Li Yumin, 18 years old, was also in the under-18s and has been taken away. You gotta love this in Football Manager, right? Where you get the guy who is the combination striker and center back. You gotta love that combination, right? There you go. And then this is the one that actually hurts. Zhou Hongyi, who I was going to have as one of our 3 starting central defenders, ended up going over to Taiwan Power. He started, it looks like he played in 9 games for us, let's see, in the league, 6 starts and 3 times off the bench and played well for us. I was kind of hoping we could hold on to him. I thought that he was pretty good despite the fickle personality. He has no transfer interest. I don't know if he would want to potentially come back to us or not. Yeah, he has no plans, nothing like that going on. He's 23 years old, and that's the reason why this kind of hurts, because this is the sort of guy that we probably could have built around in the back. But unfortunately, that's just sort of what happens when you get these guys on these contracts. I mean, does he even have a contract? No, he's non-contract, right? I mean, in theory, we could sign with him. It's not going to happen that quickly. In theory, we could, though, just swoop in and sign him again if we really wanted to. So we could always sort of keep that in mind. Anyway, we brought on a whole bunch of guys, most of whom are not going to play. This one will look familiar. Toa Maile, who just so happens to be injured right now. So we're not going to see him for a while. No, I'm sorry. He's not injured anymore. It looks like that injury has been overcome. We have him on the loan list. He is not registered. He's just simply not good enough to be registered. The coach report calls him a good prospect and says that he might be good enough maybe in the future. Oh, no, he is currently out with an injury. I don't know. I'm lost. I have no idea what's going on. I have no idea where I am at the moment. But yeah, he's currently out with a injury, and we're kind of hoping to loan him out sooner rather than later, and then just sort of see what happens in the future. I've got a feeling he's going to be a player who kind of follows me around from place to place. This guy right here, Nene Gnaziri, another Cote d'Ivoire player, came in as the best striker on the team, probably the best striker in the league, actually. He's the guy who we were trying to open up a way for. And then we've had a whole bunch of signings from a whole bunch of sort of random players. And so it's kind of what happens in this world. Under 18s, I'm only showing you this to take a look at one person in particular, which is this guy, Chang Chunjie, who came in. He is the one player from our youth intake that we decided to keep. Of course, as you know, this is because he's consistent and because he has a fairly good personality. He's making a lot of improvement, at least I hope he is. He fits well into the dressing room. This is the sort of guy that we want to really build the team around in front. And we will do the best that we can. I don't know if he's ever going to be as good as Nene Gnaziri, but you never know. Maybe he will be as good. Maybe he will be able to develop him. As for right now, he's going to be 15 years old and stand the under 18s. I mean, the truth is, I'm not going to be with this club that long. We're not going to be in Taiwan that long, but it'd be interesting to sort of follow this guy, see what happens in his career, and see what goes on. So that's basically what's happened here. I mean, this is sort of what the squad looks like. Real quick, we have 36 people, 35, I believe, are registered. Everybody but Toa Maile is registered. I'm sorry, no, Kader Bamba is also not registered because he's out on loan. And happiness so far is pretty good. We go over here and look at the squad dynamics. Things are fine. There is one player who's unhappy. This is Jiang Haoren. This is one of the weird things here, right? So I released a couple of players who suck, right? I hate to be blunt with you, but that's what I did. And it put our transfer budget in the negative. There's absolutely nothing we can do to add money to the transfer budget. It is impossible because the board won't let us. So the transfer budget is just negative, and as a result, we can't get rid of players who we would like to get rid of. That guy Jiang Haoren, this guy here, is a player who I would really, really like to get rid of because we are not going to play him. He is not good enough. He is not good enough to play for us. And unfortunately, he's making 200 euros a week, which is a lot more than he should. And so we're kind of stuck with him. And yeah, I don't know what's going to happen in the end. It's a question. I guess I promised him I'd find him a loan move. Hopefully by the time we get money again, we'll be able to just release him, and then that will be his loan. So be it. I actually came close to wanting to release Wen Shihao, who has played really his last game for us. Just so you know, in his final season, he's had more goals than any other season of his career, 9 goals in 11 matches, and that totally ignores the fact that he had this huge, huge stretch of just simply not scoring. Let's see if we look at the league itself. It won't even let us go back far enough. But yeah, he had a huge stretch of scoring like no goals at all. So, I mean, there you have it, right? I'm not quite sure why this thing is set up the way that it is, but whatever. Or maybe I'm looking at the wrong player. I don't know. You know how it is with this game from time to time. It's really easy to get lost. A couple other things to update you on. I'm actually not going to click on the home tab because then I'll stand here and have to talk to myself for minutes on end. But I was offered 2 different jobs with 2 different lower-level Japanese teams. I actually interviewed in game for both of them. It's because I knew at the time that I was out of contract. And then I went and over into the finance screen and went over to the board request and say, hey, why don't you give me a new contract? And that worked. I've been asking them to improve youth recruitment and to increase the junior coaching budget. They're getting sick of me asking for this stuff, but we do have money left in the bank. And really, I mean, we should be making a profit this year. The reason why we're not at for the time being is because of the money that we've spent trying to upgrade facilities and stuff like that. We're actually operating under a loss. Look at that. I'll tell you, one of the reasons why is because when I look at our schedule, we have no people showing up at our matches at all. I mean, okay, yeah, this one we could have beaten Taichung Futuro and have clinched the league. We only had 300 people show up at home, 253 there, now about 500 there for Hangyuan, who are an actual professional squad, not a semi-pro squad like we are. but you kind of get the picture here, right? We had to go over to Taipei and get that audience of 600 plus people. It is possible, when I look at the competition, see, it's not going to show me this here. We go over here and we look at the rules of the competition. We can see here, yeah, we're going to go into the AFC Cup playoff. I don't know when that begins, but it is possible that if we get up to this AFC Cup playoff, and especially if we somehow are able to survive, get into some of the rounds, or even get into the actual the actual group stage of the AFC Cup, it is possible that we can really get this financial thing turned around. That's probably going to be the thing that theoretically will save us. Now, as you know, if we do wind up, so they are going to give us a minimum guaranteed budget of 50,000 euros and 4,000 euros per week. We'll be able to sort of manage that a little bit, so it's a little bit better. But if these budgets run out, or if we totally start going to the red, I'm just going to leave and we'll go manage at some other impoverished club until we run that one out of business. So that's the plan that we have until we somehow squeeze out one of the 6 championship league victories. Remember, if you haven't been around and been watching the other videos, the point of doing this is mostly, honestly, to have fun and to sort of goof off and screw around and see what's going to happen. That's really what it's all about. In part, we want to do this so that it is realistic, right, and do what we would do in this situation in real life. That's why I decided to have this interview with the Japanese club. But there's really no major rule outside of that. We kind of go from place to place and do thing to thing and try to make it make some sort of sense. But if something cool comes along and I look at it and think that would be a lot of fun to do, we're just going to go do it. Why not? Might as well go and have some fun and sort of see what shakes out. Anyway, the other thing I wanted to look at here before I let you go, apologies for the length of the video, is take a quick look over here at the season preview screen, which is where all the secrets in the world are located. And here we can see that actually Ndaye is the key player in all the country, followed closely by Lee Chaba, which is hilarious because Lee Chaba was the guy I was going to get rid of. In fact, this guy here, Cho Li Wei, who's only 16 years old, is actually showing up as the best goalkeeper in the country. This is a guy who I think scouting is in progress. I am looking at him at the moment. Hopefully we can figure out some way to get him over onto our screen, because a new gen who's showing up and who's number 2 in the key players in the country is a new gen who should be playing on our team. If he is showing up better than Lee Chaba, then we need to get him and get rid of this guy, and then we can bring another foreign player along. We can bring Bamba back from Cote d'Ivoire if he still wants to talk with me. So it is. We'll see what we can figure out from all of this. Naziri ends up being one of the best strikers in the country. And really, technically speaking, we could probably just go up and down all the players that we see here. Here's another 16-year-old that we probably should go and scout. We could just go down all the players that we see here in the Media Dream 11 and just, raid that from year to year. And then we'd be guaranteed to have the best players in the country. So there you have it. We have 1 to 16 odds right now of winning the league. We just won the league, right? So, big surprise, right? But that gives you an idea of how powerful we are compared to the other teams. It's going to be, so this week you'll see, this is what I'm looking for. This week you'll see the end of the season proper, and then we'll get into next season. We'll see where exactly that starts out at. And my prediction is that next season we'll probably be able to simply waltz through the league like it's nobody's business, unless we have something happen that happened like it happened over at Panza East FC, where players started to get upset for no reason, and then next thing you know, we had a crisis on our hands. So that's the reason why you play the games and don't just talk about it on paper. Anyway, there you go. Hope you enjoyed that. As you know, I don't do the transfer special the same way that some of the other major football manager channels do. We try to do it a little bit differently here. Frankly, I don't really like the idea of having the video on pause or starting new videos or whatever every time something happens in game. I can see it. We could do it, right? But for me as a viewer, I don't really appreciate watching it that much. I personally kind of like it better if I get something shorter that kind of summarizes what's happened. We're going to keep pushing forward, see what happens here with this save. I think it's going to be a lot of fun going forward here. Hopefully, it will let me play in the AFC Cup. If not, then we may have to come up with some sort of emergency solution to the problem or find a different project. I would hate to do that because I've really, started to become committed to this. But you know how it is with Football Manager. Sometimes really screwy things happen. So whatever, we'll figure it it out. We take it a day at a time, a step at a time, and we'll see you tomorrow and see what challenges await us then. Goodbye.